Hi everyone, welcome back to our YouTube channel. I didn't want to promise this in the last video because I wasn't sure what the weather was going to be doing this week, and I didn't know if we'd be able to do what we're going to do today. Today is a very exciting day. The sun's shining, and today we are going to be lifting all of that really ugly looking tarp and bits of carpet and everything that I've got covering up what is going to be our new picking area in the field. And they're my polytunnels where we've been filming for the last few weeks, but today we're out in the sunshine and we're going to be taking this tarp off. And to add to the excitement, my best mate, who is a really very talented documentary photographer, has agreed to give me a little bit of her time and come out and fly the drone over this area while we reveal what's going on beneath and the new picking area. Obviously there's not going to be much there apart from soil, but I thought it'd be really cool to document this right from the beginning of unveiling the ground. Tarps are off, that's what it looks like now. There used to be a grass path along the side of that Phytocarpus hedge there, and that grass just seems completely intent on carrying on growing. So rather than fight it, I've decided to make the entrance to the new cutting patch in that bottom corner there, and then halfway up at the end of that polytunnel there, there'll be an exit and entrance which will take you into the rose beds. And then at the top where that other crate is, that'll be the exit into the buttercup meadow. So that's why I've moved the crates around. And now I'm going to rotivate in some beds. A new day today. I hope you enjoyed seeing all the bed prep from above yesterday. So I'd just like to confront the elephant in the room question of why I chose to rotivate the beds and not do no dig. Well, that's to do with the scale. The area that you saw me preparing yesterday is 28 metres by 14 metres. I'll use my calculator and hopefully I'll have worked out the square meterage and I'll put that up there for you. But I can't do it off the top of my head. But that's a lot of space, and I didn't have enough compost to do no dig, and I didn't want to buy compost in, so I've chosen to rotivate, and then I'm going to put manure onto the beds as well to improve the soil. Why did I rotivate and not just dig holes? Well, we're on heavy clay here at the bottom of a hill, and because there was nothing in these beds over winter, we had quite a lot of flooding issue and it compacted the soil, so I chose to run the rotavator over the beds first just to alleviate some of that compaction, and then I'm going to put manure in and begin to plant. And we are going to make a start on our first bed, and that bed is in the top corner, and the plants that I've selected for that will flower in what's called the May gap. That tends to run into June here in North Yorkshire, I'll be honest. And that's the period of time where after your spring bulbs have flowered and before your annuals begin to flower, and there's a gap in the flowering season, and that's when we tend to turn to biennials and perennials to fill that gap. So that is what I'm going to be filling our first bed with today. So the principle of this bed is that it flowers after the spring bulbs, but I've got some pots of tulips still hanging around, so I'm going to pop those in. That is the tail ends of a tray of Orleia. I tend to plant all the weaker plants, the ones that are perfectly fine, but customers wouldn't like them as plug plants. That is some Agrostemma Bianco that's been overwintered. Got some feverfew there, just poking up, just getting some nice fresh growth on it. Got a tray of lupins that I sowed in back end of summer last year, so they've been overwintered. That's Noble Maiden. And in autumn I potted up some foxgloves, so they look a bit tatty at the minute, but will come away absolutely fine when their feet are in the ground. Lots of different foxgloves there. This is looking gorgeous. This is some aquilegia that was sown last summer and potted up over winter. So this is quite interesting when it comes to perennials and thinking about if you're planting them and plant spacing. This is some of our GM plug plants that we were selling last week. This is Lady Strathderrin, and that is a tray of them that I kept to plant in the field. And this, without straining my back, is one of the GM Totally Tangerines that we dug up from the old perennial beds. So that becomes that in about 3 years' time. So when it comes to spacing, you need to be careful that you don't fall into the trap of thinking those plants are tiny and planting them really butt up close together like that, because eventually they will turn into this. So what you don't want to be doing is planting two plants very close together like that, because you can see this big clump is actually larger than those two put together. So it's just something to be aware of, that you do need to bide your time if you're buying smaller perennials or bare root perennials, but eventually they will reach a large lump size like this. So don't plant them too closely together. So I'll get on with some planting now and you'll see the distances that I'm using in this bed. I always leave all plant debris in the soil and just simply work it in. It does no harm. So the bed is now fully laid out, and I thought you'd be interested to know what's in it. We've got 43 foxgloves, 8 aquilegias, 24 lupins, 22 feverfew, 9 GM Totally Tangerines, 12 GM Lady Strathderrin, 7 Mai Tais, and 27 agrostemma and 15 orleia, and 6 pots of tulips. There we go. Bed number 1 in the new picking area is complete. I expect this bed to come into flower in the middle of May and continue to flower for around 4 to 6 weeks thereafter. And then I'll be taking out the orleia and tulips and replacing those planting areas with a mix of Cosmos Purity, which is a white cosmos, and Cosmos Apricotta, which is an apricot cosmos, continuing our colour theme throughout the season. The plants are placed close enough together, hopefully that in a few weeks' time we'll see some growth and they'll all start to grow in together. It'll be that hopefully that suppresses the weeds. I hope that I've adjudged it properly so that the plants are touching but are still allowing enough space around them so that air can circulate and we don't get loads of mildew and things like that on the plants. So that's the key, just getting the planting right in a mixed border so that the plants are smothering the ground so the weeds can't germinate but allowing air to circulate. I always think more plants, less weeds. So that's it for this week. Thank you to Tessa for your expertise in drone flying and all your photography work. And thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye!